You notice that we have a seat missing in our DC and our line coach. We're addressing that right now. We could have done that probably in the last month, but I don't want to be quick. I want to be right.
Made it to the right place. That was Coach Prime talking about his current state of staff and how certain glaring holes have to be addressed in the coming days, in the coming weeks, whatever it is. But this video is not only going to be about that, but a complete reset of the program. And why is it a reset? Because so many people have left the program in just the last 30 days. Not only players, not only his own personal relationship, where he said it himself on Nightcap, he said, I'm in a portal as far as personal relationships goes, which I thought was funny, but also coaches. You got both coordinators leaving, the offensive line coach, the defensive line coach, which he spoke on, and defense coordinator, talking about edge, outside linebackers coach, who's your main, biggest recruiting coordinator, Nick Williams, he left. And now Dennis Thurman, who says, you know what, it feels like a retirement job to say, no, I'm gonna be the defensive coordinator in Hawaii. Never been to Hawaii's campus, you need to go. It's absolutely beautiful. I can see why he would want to go there to be a defensive coordinator. So with all that being said, that's a lot of people. And my last video was on culture, and it's like, how do you keep that? But it was a hard reset today, and it was good seeing Coach Prime's first meeting for the spring. My first thought was like, God dang, it's already springtime already. I remember it being here where he's telling kids, you know, it's time, and now it's ready to get the workouts in and grind towards the next season, which ended up being 4-8. Now it's already the spring. It was great seeing kids that had been in the program last year speak on what the expectations are. You know, like, this is our culture, this is where we want to be. Hearing Levanta Bentley, he talked, Jimmy Horn talked. It was just good seeing kids that have been in the program speak to new kids that let them know where and what to expect. And the thing is, expectation of excellence. Last year, they completely were competitive. They got to 4 wins, and now it's like, how can we not only get back there, but beyond there? And that's what they talked about in that room. Coach Prime did a great job at replenishing that coaching staff. You know, naming Pat Shermer, who was already there, a guy who has so much experience. You could tell from what the players kind of said, it's not going to be the same thing as Coach Sean Lewis. It may be up-tempo, but it won't be lightning fast like before. It's going to be methodical at times, up-tempo. It's going to be a normal, regular offense, and be able to schematically keep Shedeur up on his feet instead of on his back. Moving on, offensive line coach, NFL person, Phil Loadhold. I remember him playing. He's just a fantastic player. He's going to be able to impart to the kids exactly how and what they need to do. And they beefed up the offensive line, the kids anyway. But the concern I'm getting to you all is, and how I started the video, was defensive coordinator and defensive lineman, D-line coach. And I'm going to start with defense coordinator. The reason why that's so crucial is because they're still trying to get kids from the portals, especially when new coaches are leaving. You know, the Arizona coach is now the University of Washington coach. The University of Washington coach is now the Alabama coach. That extends the portal for some football players. And it's really hard to go into a new situation. I want to say I'm an Alabama football player and I play defense. I want to play for you, Prime. That's great, but I don't know what system y'all gonna run, because you don't know what kind of system you're gonna run. You don't even have the coordinator. I'm going to spend more time with my defensive coordinator than you. I'm going to spend more time, especially if I'm a defensive lineman, I might spend more time with my D-line coach than the coordinator and you, Coach Prime. So how can you get me to buy in? It's because they've been in these programs. This is not a high school freshman, a high school senior you're talking to who doesn't know what's going on. This is a edge rusher at Alabama or UW or Arizona. And Arizona had them boys. They could rush. They know what our program's supposed to look like. They know, like University of Washington, we just made it to the national championship. We know what it's supposed to look like. I know who I talk to on a day-to-day basis. So you can't bullshit me and say, well, we gonna get to that. No, I need to know who my D-line coach is. Am I gonna like this person? Can I work with this person? Can this person get me to the next level? And that's the same thing with a D coordinator. What kind of scheme does he run? Is it gonna accent my strengths? I like to be a down rusher. Does this person ask me to be in space? Will this person ask me to move around? It's so many different intricacies that they have to know before committing to that, and that's really what is concerning. So Coach Prime, met it head on. He said, look, which I kind of thought, the coach basically that he wants to have in is still with their team. And what happens a lot of the times is there's a handshake deal, like, hey, yeah, I'm going to be the new D coordinator, or hey, yeah, I'm going to be the new D-line coach, but you have to wait until their team season plays out before it can be actually announced. And I'll read what he said. The NFL is just getting over, and this Coach Prime talking, and it's still some teams in the playoffs. Not only are we trying to get you a pro, but we're trying to get you a professional, either from college or the NFL. Now, again, the college football playoffs just ended. He could still be interviewing some NFL coaches that are in the NFL playoffs that are still going. And once that's over, they win the Super Bowl or they get eliminated, that's when it could be announced. But it does put you at a disadvantage for transfers on the defensive side of the ball. So for as much jumps they've had on the offensive line, skill player, the wide receiver group looks incredible for the Buffaloes. And you got Dylan Edwards, who put on 10, 20 pounds, who's going to be ready to go for the spring. Your offense is ready to go. It's like, how can you replenish and feel really good about the defense? You got some DBs here and there, but how can you get the people who are going to rush the quarterback and go get the quarterback and have some sense about them, that smart, fast, tough discipline, without having that coach in place? That really sucks. And, I completely love my Coach Kelly, my defense coordinator in college, going back to his alma mater to coach as a defense coordinator. Makes perfect sense. Goes to the SEC. I'm sure it's going to be a little bit more money. But with that being said, you wish if you had that kind of continuity, I know the offers could be rolling in more than anything. And that kind of puts you at a disadvantage. Now let's talk about the D-line coach. I'm like, yo, what? So he's talking, and he says, yeah, we don't know who the D-line coach is going to be just yet. So I'm like, wait, so Sunseri's gone? And I read the article saying he was probably going to go to Charlotte with Tim Brewster, who took a co-head coaching position out there. So I'm like, damn, I didn't know Sunseri was gone. That wasn't a big thing. Everyone thought he was going to come back. And then it's like, well, I thought Sunseri would be there, this D-line coach, and have to supplement Coach Sapp, Warren Sapp. Coach Sapp wasn't at the first meeting at all. Wasn't there, wasn't introduced. And then you have these conversations talking about, oh, our D-line coach isn't here yet. So if Coach Sapp isn't there just yet, what's going on? You look at his profile, he's still, his social media profile, so he still follows, a lot of people from the Colorado Buffalo staff. They still follow him. But he hadn't posted about being in Boulder. He hadn't posted about starting. None of that. And his official position hasn't been announced. Can he be an analyst? Sure. But the analysts were at the meeting. You get what I'm saying? And so it's like, is that hire still going to go through? So it's a lot of defensive ambiguity on that side of the ball that they have to shore up before they can really, really go after some high elite guys, because the programs that are doing late shifting have a lot of 5-star, 4-star players. So I'm talking about Arizona, I'm talking about University of Washington, I'm talking about Alabama. They have a bigger transfer window a little bit right now. So it's really, really imperative that they get that person in and know what kind of scheme they're running. So they get the scheme together, go through spring, and then they can readjust with whatever transfers that can come back in. But with that being said, it's really really tough on the continuity. So, but I know it's going to get worked out, and I think the big thing is resetting the bar. Like it or not, the thing is they started with win right now, and that's how they started that mantra, beating TCU, beating Nebraska, beating Colorado State. I mean, oh my gosh, it was such a great time. And then the bottom fell out of the season. So with that being said, what do they need to do next? How do you get beyond that 4-win barometer? And that's how you reset the program. This is the floor. That was the floor. We're not going to be on the floor anymore. We got to get to the next level. And the next level, they brought in a fantastic offensive line coach. They got Pat Shurmur, who was the NFL head coach, who's going to be running things, who knows how to look at things from a different lens, and then help players on the offensive side of the ball, especially shedeur, get to the next level. What are NFL coaches looking for, and what kind of systems can we run that they know that they're looking for? Turn you into I'm not talking about anybody in particular, turning you to a second-round player to a first-round draft pick, from a fourth-round draft pick to a second-round draft pick. That's what Pat Shurmur is going to do for those kids, and that's just phenomenal. You cannot get that anywhere else. But again, it's concerning that the defensive coordinator staff isn't in, and from how things transpired, it just makes you think that he wasn't happy with what he had in-house. He was happy with Pat Shurmur, and Mike Zimmer's great. I don't know if he can get Mike Zimmer to commit to something like that, but like a defensive coordinator role in college. But Dennis Thurman going from Boulder to Hawaii makes a lot of sense geographically, but it would have been an easy transition to make him a defensive coordinator there, and I guess it just wasn't the right fit. And then you look at another coach. You think, well, couldn't someone get elevated to that role? Couldn't he just offer that to someone who's already in-house? But it's apparent that that person's not there, and he wants to go and get an NFL upgrade. Either way, I think it's going to be a fantastic spring. I can't wait to see how the players fit and mold with each other. It should be a fun spring. I cannot wait to cover it for you all. All right, until next time, Heritage Sports.